friendship and your marriage, like how much you are really good at service and how that is, it's probably challenging, not only that you're having to serve people at work, but you're coming home and serving in your home. But I still see that you're really good at that. So good for you. I commend you on that.
Thanks.
Okay, so Phoebe's story, though brief in the Bible, speaks volumes about the importance of supporting others, like you said, your patients, others around you, your husband, your community. In what ways have you found God's strength and encouragement in your role as a nurse, particularly when caring for others who are in a vulnerable situation?
It's a good question. I think it's just because of, God's strength and Jesus' story. I think one of the most powerful forms of ministry is just being Jesus with skin on.
Mm-hmm.
Just being like, there's something different. Like, she's never, this way, or like vulgar, or although I have picked up cussing, I've got to work on that one. But it's just like the way you love on the less fortunate, the way Jesus came down to earth and loved on the vulnerable and the less fortunate. That's just my whole job. Is people of the community who are in a vulnerable position, regardless of financial or, housing stability, but we see all aspects of that. And I do have to often, especially on really stressful days, because it is an ER and I'm doing, 100 things, remind myself before I go into a patient room that this person doesn't know that I'm doing 100 other things. They may know, but they are not carrying the mental load of that. I am. But I need to treat this person with the kindness, patience, and love as if, they're only aware of their terrible situation.
Yeah.
And communicate with them in that way. And I think when I'm exhausted and out of patience, only God's strength really gets me through some of those shifts. That and some really good coworkers. You can just like vent about it and then just step in that room and do it all over again.
Yeah.
But I try, I don't know if I'm successful, to just love on the people that I have to take care of, as Jesus would if he was down here taking care of them.
Phoebe was a benefactor, so that meant she used her resources to help others, and you give so much of yourself daily. You give your energy, your time. How do you stay spiritually replenished in order to come home and do it all again tomorrow?
Some days and weeks are easier than others. It's a lot of support from my friends, whether they're at work, Christian or not. Nate and I attend a weekly small group. They have been with me since we moved up here, and we started this small group the day that I started nursing school.
Wow.
So they have seen me through the school and through the first 2 years in the ED. And they have just been insane in the way they've prayed for me and supported me, though they may not understand practically what I have to go through emotionally. They're just always there for me. I literally called my friend one day and I was like, Nate's not home. I had a terrible day. I'm just going to come lay on your couch and cry. And she was like, okay.
Wow.
So, just community is huge. Nate is huge. When I started this job, it's really easy to take home all of the trauma and the sadness, and you can't do that. You won't survive this field of work if you bring that home every day. Because what I'm seeing every day is most people's worst day.
Yeah.
And I can't bring that home. So Nate, who works at the airport, really quickly came up with, you got to leave the airplanes at the airport. And so when I come home, sometimes I'll vent about a case or two, or a patient or two. But for the most part, I just really got to give it to God and leave the airplanes at the airport. And then, really compartmentalize work and home life.
Wow.
Yeah. And some days it's easier than others. Some days I lay tossing and turning, thinking about one case. And then other days I'm like, it's gone. It's at work. That place runs 24/7. Somebody's taking care of it.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good way to think about it. Because my husband, Adam, was an EMT, as you know. And a lot of times I think it was hard for him to kind of switch off that part of his brain when he came home, because I don't understand. I can listen and I can be there for him just like Nate can be for you, but we're not the ones seeing that stuff.
Yeah.
And so it's good to have those friends in your community that do experience the same thing, so that if you did need to talk to them, and you're using your small group and Nate as a sense of comfort and refreshment as you go back.
Without trying to trauma dump on them.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's fine line.
Fine line. Okay, Haley, before we wrap up, that was super helpful and really interesting to learn about how you see God's strength as a way to replenish yourself. And similar to how Phoebe worked as a benefactor to help support Paul, you're helping to support your community in the hospital and everything like that. But I want to learn a little bit more about you personally. So like I teased earlier, Haley and I have Disney in common, and we're what some people might call Disney adults. Proudly, I would call myself a proud Disney adult for those who would make fun of me.
I think I'm a shy one, but I think I really am one.
You have a secret Disney Instagram page.
Oh my gosh, I don't even know the password to that anymore.
She don't post on it too much, but she did have one.
I did have one. That is true.
I mean, totally I followed that thing. And you told me you would watch Disney vlogs if I did them.
I would absolutely watch
So I think vlogs. We've kind of just agreed that we do love Disney a lot. So kind of on that same vein, what is a Disney character that you feel has impacted your life? Now, we talked a little bit about this before the episode started. So we talked about how there are categories to this. There are Disney characters that are inspiring, one that we want to be like, and maybe one that's our favorite. So what's one that's impacted you or inspired you?
I really love Tiana's just like work ethic. I just feel like I work really hard at work, but I think sometimes I work so hard at work, I come home and then I have like no more work ethic. And she just grinds day at home and at night and at work, and she's just getting it. And she does have to learn balance.
Right.
So I think I need a little bit more work ethic at home, though, maybe. Sometimes I think I balance the rest a little too much. So I do love her work ethic. I also love the story of Moana, where she just really has to go through and like find herself amidst the chaos.
Yeah.
And I feel like not necessarily this year, but especially when Nate and I moved or getting engaged, and just like so much life change is about when that movie came out. And I was just like, yeah, I don't know who I am. And there's like a whole song in there about how she finds who she is. Like, oh, got me. There were tears shed. And I just also love that story of just like, you gotta go out, you gotta adventure, you gotta do your thing, you gotta feel what's right, and then hopefully you find yourself. So